Hi guys, Ronnie here. I want to talk to you today a little bit about my artwork and one piece in particular that I just finished over the weekend. So I have all my stuff over here and I'll show you that in just a sec, but I want to explain a little bit about me and my artwork before I get started. So I used to paint probably close to a decade ago, if I'm being honest. There's a hair on my lip. That's really annoying. Why would it do that in the middle of my recording? Anyway, I used to paint probably close to a decade ago. I did a lot of abstracts. I didn't do a whole lot of actual anything, so I'm not super great at like landscapes or people or anything like that. I am starting to get into drawing now, and I'm working on figures and portraits. So I'll probably post some videos of my trying that out at some point as well, but that might be a little bit longer since this is done. I'm going to show you this now. But my mom and I started going to paint night at my church. And it's like those wine and paint nights, except it's at church, so there's no wine. It's just paint. And it's really fun. It doesn't cost anything. You just have to bring your own canvas. So it's kind of a nice way to get together with some of the other gals from church and just chill, hang out, and paint and have fun. So we went last month and they had us painting this, which we thought was gorgeous. Mom and I were so excited to see this picture. So it's this really pretty tree that has kind of 4 quadrants around it, where each quadrant is a different season, which is just, it's a really fun idea, it's a really fun concept, and it's a really, really, really pretty picture that we were super excited to get to do in class. And then we painted it. And I'm going to tell you right now, I like what we painted, but I don't like it as well as this. So when we finished, Mom and I both thought, oh, we can do better than that. And I know how to do a lot of painting techniques. I didn't know how to do very specific, like I don't know how to paint a tree, really. I can figure out how to paint a tree because it's a tree, but I don't know any like technique for painting a tree. I just know different brush strokes, different techniques for painting in general. So we thought, okay, well, I have a basis of where we're going, so let's redo it and see if we can do it better. But let me show you what we did in class, and you guys can tell me what you think in the comments, if you think that this is prettier, or if you like what we did in class. So we did this, which is not bad. I'll be the first person to tell you it's not bad, and I do actually quite like it. I like the bright oranges that we got in here. I really like this purple quadrant up here. I really like how that one turned out. I even kind of like how I did my snow. I think it looks pretty. I'm not fond of my green. I think it's too green. I really liked in the original that it's more of like an olive color. Hold that a little closer for you so you can see it. But it's like this really pretty olive. And then in class, she had us do it lime green. And it was just, it's a little brighter than what I wanted. I had a friend actually describe this as being the Stardew Valley version of this. I apologize, I'm recording during the day, so there will be road noises because roads are loud. But yes, this is what we painted in class, and I'm not unhappy with it, but I really wanted this, and what we got was this. She barely had us do any sponging, where a lot of the details in the example picture we were given is sponging. The only things that she had us sponge were the trees at the top, the details on the branches, and that's it. Everything else is done with a brush. So it wasn't exactly what I was wanting, nor was it what my mom wanted. So I'm going to be giving that one away to the same friend who said it looked like Stardew Valley. But then over the weekend, we finally had time to sit down and make a new one. So what we came up with was this, which I think is way closer to this. I mean, way closer. So in this one, we spent the majority of the time honestly doing sponging. Most of it is sponged. I did attempt to do a video to show you how we painted it, and of course my camera died right in the middle, and we didn't feel like stopping and waiting for my camera to finish charging. I need to get a second battery, I know. And so I have a video of how we painted the 4 quadrants, and then my camera died, so I might put some of that in at the end or somewhere in here so you can see how we started. But we started by just using a brush and flat painting the 4 colors. So we did almost a burgundy for fall, a really deep navy blue for winter, and then we have this nice medium green and a really pretty deep purple up here. And we had a lot of fun with it, and we wanted to make sure that it looked a little more realistic and had some deeper tones that we felt would match better with our style. Because in my house, and you probably can't see anything from here, but I don't have a lot of bright colors, so putting this up in my house would just be really, really, really vivid and bright, where most of what I have out is muted or jewel tone at the brightest. So this really goes, the second one really goes a lot better with what I already have and what I've kind of decorated with at this point. But I really, really like how this one turned out. I like how we got all of the different sponging qualities and how we got this really nice gradient in each of the little quadrants, and it turned out just so much prettier, I think, than the original one that we did in class. And it's close. It's close to the thing we were given to copy. It's not exact, but there were things about this one that I actually didn't like as much and that I like better in the one that we did. So I guess I'll just tell you a little bit of how we did it and how we went about getting all of this. So we started, like I said, of painting the 4 colors. Once that was in, we added the sponge work to get the gradients into each little section. So we did, I think we started down here, so we sponged on the yellow with a little bit of orange and then took like a medium reddy orange to kind of make it a little bit more gradyized, I guess is the word I'm going to use there. In the blue section, we mostly took white and then a really pale baby blue, which I think you can see it down here. You can see that there's more of that baby blue. And then added a like pure blue to kind of sponge in the middle in here just to add a little bit more depth of color and make it look a little bit icier. Because I didn't like in the one that we did in class that this doesn't look icy at all. Like there's no, it looks cold, sure, but it doesn't look icy. And in the picture we were given, this looks like ice. This looks like just like ice. So I wanted it to look not just snowy, not just cold, but icy. And I think that's what we got here. Then for this one, we ended up doing it a little bit differently. It's not done like this in our example one, but I like how we did it. So we used a lavender to kind of decide, made some big decisions, as Bob Ross would say, and decided where we wanted our branches to go out, and then used that as a guide later on when we drew in the branches. Up in here in the green area, we sponged on a light green, a medium green, and a little bit of yellow, just to get a nice variation of color in there, because we didn't want it to fall flat. I didn't want it to be very blah. I wanted it to pop nicely with the vibrant colors in the other quadrants. Then we did the tree, and the tree was probably the easiest part, if I'm being honest, especially because we had already made some of those big decisions and decided for this section where all the branches went. So we just had to do the branches over here, and the one thing that I wish I had done differently was I wish I had taken my branches up a little higher, because I don't like that they don't come up into this corner as well. I don't think it looks bad. I think it actually looks quite nice, but I would have liked it just a little more if the color had gone up a little higher. And that's fine, like if the branches had sprawled more. But if we're being honest, trees don't grow in a perfect circle, or rectangle in this case, and they tend to look a little crazy. So I think I did pretty well. We then added some details over the top, so like the leaves, which is just, that's done with a brush, and I did it twice, so I have a dark color underneath and a light color on top, or a light color with a dark color, like these ones, because I wanted to get a little more depth with the leaves. In the picture we were given, you can see it's just dots. If it'll focus, it probably won't. Anyway, it's just dots instead of leaves. And I wanted it to be more leafy. In class even, I did it almost the same way. So I have an actual leaf shape that you can see. And the instructor really liked how I did my leaves. So I wanted to keep that same thing going on. So I wanted to leave my leaves the same way because I really like how that looks. Then we did the ground down here as well. This I did with a brush because I didn't want it to look exactly the same as the snow, and the snow I knew I wanted to sponge. So I did this with a brush to get a slightly different texture than the snow, and I wanted it to look more like a pile of leaves. So the snow I did twice. I sponged on the color, let it dry. I sponged back down with some black just to get a little more of that root detail, and then I sponged back in with some white after that black dried to make it look a little bit more drifty. In this section we sponged an olive green over the branches as well as almost a mustard yellow just to get that little bit of extra color pop with a little bit of white, just a tiny bit of white just to make it really have a nice highlight color. This one I think was the most fun to do. This one we just added little areas of red with a little bit of pink and a little bit of white so that it would, again, pop really nicely, especially with it being on that dark purple background and with more of the background showing through in this section. But again, I just really like how this one turned out. It's not that I despise how this one looks. I quite like it. I think it looks really good, especially for being done at paint night where you only have about an hour and a half to paint this whole thing, because this one took like 4 hours to do. It was probably a little bit longer than it needed to be, but we were having a hard time making those big decisions and deciding where we wanted stuff, so it makes sense. So I'm curious, and I'm going to ask you in the comments, which one do you like better? Obviously this one's more like the example we were given to begin with, and this one's a little more fun. But which one do you like better? Which one would you be happier with if you had done them? And would you have done what we did and gotten this and gone home and made it into this? Or would you have just stuck with what you did and called it good? Really curious to see what you guys think. I will hopefully be posting more art videos soon. I will try to keep my camera from dying next time so you can see a little bit more of my process and how I do what I do. Again, this was just basically a do-over of something we did in paint night. Next time I'm thinking I'll do one that's an original piece. It'll probably be an abstract because of that, because I really like painting abstracts. But we'll see how it comes out. Let me know what you guys think of this. If you want to see more stuff like this, because we are going to keep going to paint night, if you guys want to see us redo some of our paint night stuff, or you want me to talk about what we did at paint night, let me know. I would love to do stuff like that for you. Have a good night, guys.